What's up? Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Courtney Capano. So excited to have you. So as you can see by the title, this is going to be another one of my girl talk videos. I just want this to be a place where you feel like you're just listening to your girlfriend chat and talk about the gushy stuff that maybe we don't talk about enough and we should in our everyday life. So every time that I create one of these videos, I always pose a question on my YouTube channel and on my Instagram, just asking for other women to submit questions they have around girl talk taboo subjects or advice they're looking for on certain things that they're going through, or just topics in general that they want to hear from me on. I got a ton of incredible topics and questions and advice that people are looking for, and so I'm actually making this into two parts. So this is going to be the first part that I film. I'm going to put them up at the same time. So if you see this one first, definitely check out the other one. I'll link it up here. A lot of questions came through around like relationship advice and a lot of questions around friendship, like advice specifically, how to deal with toxic friendships, friendship breakups, like how to make friends in your late 20s. There's a ton of other topics in this video that I'll go through too, but those are just some. Normally before videos, I try to like prepare some ideas and formulate my thoughts, but with this, I really wanted it to be like you're sitting down asking me questions or sitting down hearing from me on different topics that I didn't necessarily prepare to talk about, but I'm gonna go off of like my gut instinct to react to some of these things, if that makes sense. And just before we do jump in, I wanted to draw attention to my crew neck. It does say Twin Mama on there, so cute. My best friend started her own small business. It's called Rosebuds Designs. I'm going to link her Instagram down below. If you need anything as far as like graphic design goes, if you're a bride, if you're a mom or mom-to-be, or just in general, you need certain designs for an upcoming event, like she does it all and she's so incredible. So support a small business and give her a follow. You can get cute cozy merch. She does like invitations, she does like custom anything. Honestly, I'm pretty sure she can do it all. Maybe I'm just bragging, but definitely check her out. So the first topic I'm going to go through is relationships, and someone wrote in little ways to make everyone important in your life feel special and feel close to you. And I related to this so much because I am someone that's constantly thinking about my relationships with individuals in my life and making sure that I am nurturing each of those. And it's so hard. And especially with two babies on the way, I do worry about making sure that I still nurture my relationships that I hold so close to me, because it's so easy to drift from people. And I'll get into that later. I think it is okay to drift from people. We'll get into that in like more of the friendship section, but I genuinely try to dedicate time. Like if I am sitting down on my couch at the end of the day or in the mornings and I find myself like scrolling social media or having like, you know, empty time in my day, I always try to make an effort to at least reach out to like one person, whether it's a family member I haven't spoken to in a week, a few days, whatever, or a friend that I haven't talked to in a few weeks. Like make an effort to just say, hey, thinking of you, hope to see you soon, or you know, reach out and say, I saw on social media this happened to you last week, like so awesome, how are you doing? Like little things like that. It has really allowed me to stay connected to friends that I don't see often and to family that I haven't seen, that I want to make sure still know I'm thinking of them. As far as making people feel valued in your life and watering all of those different gardens, that is difficult, and as life gets busy, that gets even harder. Use your best judgment and decide how much energy you want to put into your different relationships and kind of evaluate that for yourself. That works for me. And if that's like an easy, quick tip for you, like take some time, a few days a week when you have free time, and check in with the people that you love and make that like something that you do every week. It really works for me. Okay, so similarly with, you know, the importance of making people feel valued in your life, someone wrote in how to make sure that your partner values you, basically, and how to make sure that you are being treated the way you deserve to be treated. I think that at the end of the day, and I know this is kind of harsh, but I think that you need to know what you deserve. And you need to know what you will not settle for. Because if you don't have that in your head, you're going to accept treatment that you shouldn't. Ask yourself, like, what do I deserve in a relationship? And evaluate that, because too many people settle for what they don't deserve. And it's not necessarily that your partner is a bad person, but they're just not going to fit the mold for you if they are not like filling your tank in the way that you need it to be filled. Again, it's really just about asking yourself if you are like proud of the relationship that you're in. Would you want to talk with someone about your relationship and give the real true details? Like, would you want to tell someone how you feel at night at the end of the day, based on like how your partner treated you? Like, really be honest with yourself. And it can be so hard to get out of a bad relationship if you're already in one, but it's gonna be so much, it's gonna make your life so much richer in a year from now if you get out of something that is not serving you. Self-love is so important. Knowing what you deserve is so important, and there's no one that is worth staying with that's not treating you the way that you deserve to be treated. Like, you have one life, and you know, just know your worth and know how important you are and know what you can bring to the world, and be with someone that's going to like lift you up and allow you to give to the world all that you can, not like drain you and, you know, treat you in a way that you don't deserve. I could talk about this for a long time. I'm gonna move on. The next one is balancing family and career. And so this I thought was interesting, and I think especially in our 20s, where most of us are at the beginning phase of our career, which can be so stressful because most of the time none of us know what the heck we want to do with our life. So we're putting a lot of effort into navigating our careers and having periods of time where you have to be selfish to focus on you and your own development. I think first and foremost, accepting that that's okay, and that the people that love you will want you to focus on you and do what's best for you and set yourself up for success in your career. I would say the first step is to decide what success means to you. Like, is a successful life, you know, when you are at a certain point in your career? And if so, if you know that's what's going to make you feel the most proud of yourself, then you need to prioritize your career and maybe put some parts of your personal life on the back burner, and family will accept that. I think it's all about communication, letting people know in your life, like, hey, this is a selfish period of time for me. I'm working towards this goal. I love you. It's not you, it's me type of thing. So I think prioritizing communication and then your career, you should be good. So the next question was around long-term relationships. And so this is something that I definitely relate to. I have been with my partner for almost 13 years now. We started dating in 2009. It was like junior year of college where we kind of had a conversation like, we either stay together forever at this point, or like we need to end. Like, do we want this for the rest of our lives? And I loved that we both agreed that we don't want to waste each other's time in our 20s if it's not gonna be forever. And I think that's such a great piece of advice with long-term relationships. If you're in one right now, if you've been in a relationship for a few months, really ask yourself, again, I'm loving self-reflection, I guess, but ask yourself, is this person someone that I can see being the father or mother of my children? Is this someone that I can see myself marrying down the line? And if not, my advice with long-term relationships is just get out of it if you don't think it's going to be forever, because why waste your time? Like, I can't imagine Jonathan and I being together for 8, 9 years, even 4 or 5 years in my 20s and having it not work out. So that's just my first piece of advice. Personally, if you're someone that likes to date for 2, 3 years and then move on, like that works for you, great. It's not the advice that I would give, but I think definitely date around, hook up, do your thing, but don't invest in someone if you just know it's not gonna work out. And as far as like making a long-term relationship last, I really think it's just that at the core of it, always knowing like, this is the person that I want to marry. This is the person, or if marriage is not your vibe, this is the person that I want to spend a really long time with. I think if you know that and you don't question that at the core and at like the foundation of your relationship, then that's really all you need. Everything else will fall into place as long as you communicate with each other, as long as you know what the other person wants, what they need. I firmly believe in love languages, so if you have not taken that test online, take the love language test to figure out what way you can really love your partner best. That's been a huge part of Jonathan and I's relationship, because even being with someone for so long, again, you're two completely different people. Like Jonathan, the things that he needs in a relationship are completely different from me, but we are always working towards serving each other in the way that we need in a relationship. You don't tit for tat. That's another huge thing with long-term relationships. They bring along with them responsibilities, whether you get a dog, a house together, whether you have, I don't know, chores around the house that you each participate in. Like, you have to just do your part and not, you know, ask for more of your partner because you've given a certain amount. I've always loved that we've never been tit for tat. There has been seasons in our life when I'm contributing more to the relationship because that's just what had to happen at the time, and then eventually, you know, he makes up for it at a different season of our life. Those are just things that come to mind. Again, I did not prepare for this video, but I'm just trying to keep it real and honest with what has worked for us. Okay, so kind of the last bucket under relationships before I get into more like friendship specific stuff is around setting boundaries. I think the best way to set boundaries is to not let certain people know that you're setting boundaries, and that is probably not going to be received well by a lot of people, so it's okay if you disagree with me. For me, I'm someone that I hate hurting people. I feel better when I set like private boundaries with certain people in my life that they don't necessarily need to know about, but I'm aware of, if that makes sense. And I think boundary setting is less scary when you approach it that way. That's my opinion. If you want to create verbal boundaries with people, absolutely do it. You should have people in your life that respect you and still want to be, you know, friends with you or whatever after letting them know you've created a boundary. But for me, that doesn't work. So I have a lot of boundaries with people in my life, and I know certain things that I have to do to protect myself in order to continue having a relationship with certain people. And I think keeping that personal works, and it doesn't feel as scary because you don't have to make it confrontational. So that's just the only piece of advice I want to advise with this, because boundary setting is different for everyone and you should always do what's good for you. But when you want to continue a relationship with someone, I think create the boundary for yourself, know that it exists, and, you know, do what's best for you to still have that relationship. That being said, that kind of brings us right into the friendships part of this video, and specifically like toxic friendships. Now this is around boundary setting with people that you don't want to any longer communicate with or have a relationship with. This, I think, definitely can you know, result in verbally telling someone, you know, listen, I have loved the time that we've had together. I've loved the memories, whatever you want to say, but, you know, this relationship isn't serving me anymore and it's really draining me more than it's lifting me up. So I can't continue with this friendship or whatever. Like, I think those situations, setting boundaries and letting them know is okay, because again, it can result in them having some reflection and maybe being better to other people in their life. So also with friendships, someone wrote how to manage friendships as you get older and life becomes more busy. So this, I think, is similar to what I already talked about with like evaluating your relationships, but I think an actual takeaway that you can try out that has really worked for me is with your friendships and with people in your life, analyze how you feel right after you hang out with them. Whether it's like an hour after you hang out or just like the rest of the day after you leave time spent with certain people in your life. And if you're feeling drained, like emotionally exhausted, that is a red flag of that relationship. You should feel energized after hanging out with your friends. You should reflect and feel really grateful for that relationship. Now, I understand sometimes when you hang out with people, you know, they're going through something and you need to support them, give them advice, you know, X, Y, and Z. And that, of course, can be draining by, you know, offering support emotionally. But you should still feel like good about that. You should still feel like, wow, I love this person so much. I hope they feel better after, you know, hearing my advice. And I hope I was able to support them. I'm talking, you spend time with people and you are like analyzing the situation, you feel like uncomfortable about some things that happened, you just feel drained and just like your social battery is just gone. Like that should not happen in your close relationships, and definitely not in your friendships. I wrote in here, try not to let anything ever end unresolved. I call that kind of like distancing yourself with love from people, and this also could be a personal thing. I am an Aquarius, and I don't like leaving anything unresolved. I don't like any bad blood. I don't like confrontation, which actually I think Aquarius sometimes do like a little confrontation. I don't. I can be sassy, but then afterwards in 5 minutes I feel so bad and I want to apologize for everything. So if you're like me, I would say that with friendship breakups and with the advice that I've given around like taking a step back from friendships and whatever, try to always think about, you know, if I'm going to step away from this person, how can I do it in a way that it's not going to feel unresolved and that I'm still going to feel good about the way I handled the breakup. Wish the best for them. Still comment on their social media posts. I know that's like silly, but it's the reality of life, right? Like we all interact on social media, even with people that we've distanced ourselves from, right? So have it just still feel good. And you know what? Have it still be a situation where maybe in a few years from now, you can go back and rekindle the relationship. I firmly believe in not burning bridges with people. It's like the way I choose to live my life in every aspect. I mean, I've never had someone really do me dirty, knock on wood. Like I don't have anyone in my life that I feel was awful to me. So I guess that's a blessing, and people like that I probably would be like burned bridge, never crossing it again. But if possible, try to just like distance with love from people when you're breaking up with them. Right, so 2 more buckets under friendships and then we'll move on. The first is the importance of girlfriends, being a girl's girl, hyping girls up. I know that everyone's different, and some people it's not like natural to, you know, hype other girls up or be a girl's girl, if that makes sense. Like I know that's not like everyone's vibe, and that's totally fine, but I think you should always make sure that the women in your life know how incredible they are. Have you ever spent time with a girlfriend and they were like inspiring you with the things that they were telling you, or you saw one of your friends again on social media doing something and you were like, that is so cool, I'm like so proud of them, and you don't tell them, you just kind of have the moment to yourself and then you keep going with life. Like I would encourage you to stop not telling them how much they are like being a light in your life or how much they're inspiring you in those moments. So I don't know, that's just how I feel about hyping up the people in your life. But I think the second layer to that is hyping up women in general, people that maybe you aren't as close with. And I would just say that your life will be better if you adopt a mindset of being so proud of women like doing their own thing and creating their own path. I think the last 2 years with COVID and the pandemic, it has allowed so many more women specifically, and men of course too, but so many people the opportunity to have like a creative outlet. I've seen so many people from my high school, from college, creating Instagram handles, whether it's like fitness related or cooking pages or things that they're passionate about, and really dedicating themselves and putting themselves out there on these platforms. And I unfortunately have had experiences where I've had people, you know, make comments about certain things others are doing. And one, it feels weird because it makes me feel like, what are you saying about me when you see me doing things that I'm passionate about? And 2, it just makes me feel like, why can't our initial reaction to other women like putting themselves out there be, I'm so proud of you, like you're inspiring me, like that's awesome. Like why does it have to be negative when we first see other women putting themselves out there? And so I would just encourage you to try to adopt the mindset of empowering other women, because it actually feels better in your own heart and mind to do that. So I get really fired up about that stuff because I love women. I love seeing the way that the world is going with so many people, and so many women specifically like starting their own business and building their own brand. So I don't know, I could talk about this stuff forever, but I'll move on. Last question around friendships was how to make new friends in your late 20s. So I think for me, the first thing would be I would focus on quality over quantity. I would not look to have like a big friend group in my late 20s. Like I wouldn't look to create a big friend group. I would really try to focus on, okay, I want to have a handful of friends or 1 or 2 friends that are just like my go-tos, that are people that I can really rely on if I'm going through something, because friends are so important in your late 20s because it's such a pivotal time of our life. We are going through so much change. We are questioning ourselves often. I mean, I absolutely am. I'm assuming most people in their late 20s question the direction of their life. their relationships, their dating life, sex. I mean, whatever it is, like you probably want to have someone to talk to about that. So focus on really finding quality people that you can trust with all of those things. I would say, like, what do you enjoy doing? Like, are you someone that loves a spin class? Are you someone that loves yoga? Are you someone that loves to spend a Saturday at the library? Like, do the things that you love continuously. Like every weekend, do at least 2 things outside of your home that you love, and try to find people in those spaces and in those communities. And that way you already found a friend that you can have something in common with. Like you can meet them at yoga every Saturday and then kind of go from there, eventually grab lunch after yoga. That would be my approach. I also know there's really awesome friendship apps out there. I forget what one's called. Doesn't Bumble have like a friendship component to it? I would 100%, like if I was moving to a new city or I was trying to make new friends, I would use the apps 1000%. Because I mean, right off the bat, you can see what people are interested in, and I don't know, I would give that a go. So I hope that was helpful. Okay, so the last kind of section of this girl talk video is around like personal identity. And I don't know if all of the things that I'm going to chat about actually fall into this category, but I didn't really know what else to put in. So someone wrote in about being bi-curious, and I thought this was interesting. I was not expecting to scroll and find this in my Instagram question box, but there it was. I personally think like sexuality is a spectrum, and I'm sorry if you don't agree with that. I'm actually not sorry, because it's my channel. I'm allowed to say what I want, but I personally think sexuality is a spectrum. I think for a lot of people, they would admit or they would not admit that sexuality is a spectrum, but they probably have had instances in life where they've been attracted to the same sex as them. I 1000% have been attracted to women in my life. And I would say that if you are exploring your own bi-curiosity, it is important to really ask yourself, like, to what extent am I curious in exploring my sexuality? Like, could I actually see myself in a relationship with someone of the same sex as me? I have been in a heterosexual relationship for a long time, as you know, so I have never explored my own bi-curiosity. I don't know if I ever would. I have had conversations with, I think, just 1, maybe 2 of my best friends about this before. I think some people I would not talk about this with. I have one of my best friends in mind. You're probably watching it right now. You know that I'm talking about you. Where we've talked about, you know, if we didn't have partners that we loved, like, would we explore, you know, dating the same sex? And I would never be against that. I think I'm someone who believes that love is love, and if you love a person, it really doesn't matter. And I know that that goes against some people's beliefs, and that's totally cool. This is just how I've felt around the subject. So I would say if you are bi-curious and you're not in a relationship, so your curiosity and exploring your curiosity is not going to hurt anyone, go for it. Make sure that you're emotionally ready, and dip your toes in different waters, I guess, is my advice. And really always check in with yourself though, and make sure that you're like doing what is actually serving you. And again, evaluate how you feel after. Like if you go on a date with someone that is the same sex as you, or if you go on a date with, you know, a transgender individual and that's new for you, just like see how you feel after. And if it felt great, do it again. And if it didn't, then it wasn't for you. It's just all about, you know, I don't know, loving who you love and being attracted to who you're attracted to, and like honoring that. And I don't know, I guess that's really all I have to say about it. It has not been my experience, so I don't want to give advice really. I'm honestly just saying what I would do if I was to explore that type of curiosity. Okay, so the next question was how to figure out your own style and put outfits together. So this struck a chord with me because lately I came to like this realization that I don't have like a style. I have a sense of style. Like I personally love all the outfits that I put together, but I don't have like a style. You know how there are some people that dress in a similar like style every time they go out? Like whenever you see them, you're like, oh, that's like their style. I personally don't know what the heck I would call my style. Like one day I can dress super like emo, all black, edgy, Another day I love dressing like so girly and feminine and like boho and like colonial style dresses. I would just say, like, buy whatever the heck you want when you're drawn to it whenever you're shopping, and find an outfit that looks good with it, and that's your style. Like, I am not going to give advice on figuring out your sense of style, because I totally dress differently every time I step out of the house, and that's just fun for me. And I think it's honestly so hard to like bucket yourself into a certain sense of style, because one, your style is probably going to change over time. If you have only one, I don't know, style of clothing in your closet, like, you're going to get sick of it quickly. I have things that can fit into any bucket of style, and I'm happy with that. With self-identity, I think the best way you can express yourself, like, externally, is through the clothes that you wear. Let yourself wear whatever the heck you want to. Okay, so the last like one really is, someone wrote in around Instagram versus reality, and like lifting the veil on my own Instagram feed. I really do believe that my YouTube channel has lifted the veil of my life, and allowed me to show so much more of my raw self than I do on Instagram. I'm definitely not someone that, you know, shows my bad days on Instagram. I don't care to post on social media when I'm not having a good day, so I'm usually posting the good stuff. But I think on my YouTube channel, it is much less curated. I am as real as I possibly can be on here. So hopefully that it resonates with you all and you feel that way. But with Instagram versus reality, one, my piece of advice is to try to not be overly influenced when you're on social media, Instagram specifically, because it is a highlight reel. That being said, it can still be so exhausting to see people's perfection all the time when you're having a bad day. So another piece of advice is don't scroll when you're having a bad day. Like, that has helped me so much. Like, if I am feeling really down, I do not go on social media. I cannot. And that all being said too, like, I love social media. I think it allows us to really connect with people in a way that we otherwise wouldn't be able to. So I'm not gonna sit here and harp on the fact that I wish, you know, people were more fully, you know, real on Instagram, because it is nice to see curated feeds sometimes and to see all positive things going on in the world. Like, I'm not gonna say that I don't enjoy it, but I think just like be aware of how you're feeling as you're going through social media. The last question that I got that I'm going to talk about before I start filming my next video, someone wrote in advice on growing a YouTube channel. And so I think if you all made it to this part of the video, let me know down in the comments if you want me to do a whole video on this, because I know this only applies to YouTubers out there. I have been on YouTube for about 1.5 years now, and I have honestly just started growing in the last few months at a pace that I'm really happy with. But I never gave up, and I continue to just be passionate about this creative outlet for myself. So I would love to create a channel with advice if you guys would want that. I don't know if I have enough subscribers that are like trying to grow their channel, so let me know, and I'm happy to do a whole separate video. I don't want to put that in here because it's not applicable to all my gals out there. So let me know down below. And that was the last topic for this video. I'm gonna jump into the second one now, so definitely head over to that video, and I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Oh, and please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button.